Good morning everybody, and thanks for stopping in to check out this Input Mapper update video. I was out for a while. About a week of that I was sick, and then after that I had a lot of work to catch up on my regular job. So I haven't had a chance to really come on here and update you guys and let you know what was going on, but I have been doing a lot of behind the scenes work of Input Mapper. A lot of that is having to do with cleaning up the code, making it a little bit more developer friendly for its final release, so I can develop an SDK and all that stuff with it. And I released a new version of the interface, the ODIF framework. I just threw it on the forum in the Input Mapper 2 development thread, and if you're developing plugins for Input Mapper 2, you should jump on there and grab that, as it'll have the newest ODIF that I'm going to be releasing into the beta here shortly. And that'll give you a heads up on changing whatever changes you need to make in the code. A couple of the things that I'm doing is I'm completely getting rid of the idea of separate classes or separate base classes for input and output devices, input and output channels. They're all going to reference a regular either just a device or a channel class now, and the fact of it being input or output now is going to be solely derived from a property within the class itself. And that just simplifies things. It gets rid of a lot of duplication, because the difference between an input button and an output button, as far as Input Mapper, the class was concerned, there was no difference. It was the same. So I was duplicating code there and having trouble updating one and remembering to update the other. So it was easy just to get rid of the idea of separate classes and just differentiate them with a property. It'll also make expanding that class a lot easier in the future, because what I would like to do in the future is have it so plugins can actually add, by expanding the base class, they can add different input types. So say there's a device that, I don't know, some sort of a new access, a 3D access or something, and they want to combine that into one channel, they could expand the channel class and create their own derived from that. So that version of ODIF, it's up on the forum now. Grab it, update your code. If you need any help with it, because I haven't really documented too much, just go ahead and drop a line in the forum, or take a look at the GitHub and take a look at some of the sample code that I've already created for it. And that brings me to another thing. I've started, as time permits, to start open sourcing all the plugins that I'm using. I got a bunch of them up on GitHub, and I'm doing that to hopefully maybe jumpstart some more plugin development. I think it'd be easier if other people see how I'm creating the plugins and how some of them are written. Give them a little better of a stepping off point for them to create their own. So go ahead, and that link is up on our website on the left hand side where all the other social media icons are. You'll find the GitHub, and just go there and you'll see all my my repositories for the plugins that I'm working on there. One cool new device that I just received yesterday as a gift from Abdullah, a member of our Input Mapper community. I'm creating a input plugin for this guy right here. It's a what is it? It's a Space Navigator for notebooks. It's a 3D mouse. I don't know how well that plays on video, but basically, it looks like a knob, but it's not a knob, though it could be used as a knob, I guess. But this top portion here exists on a floating. It's semi-attached here, but it exists like on a floating. I don't know how it is, like a spring or something in there. But this gives you full 6 degrees of freedom with this one device, meaning that not only can you push it forward, back, left, right, and give it a twist, but you can also translate it, which is linearly push it up, down, left, right, forward, and backwards. The movements are very small, so it doesn't play too well on camera. But it's a cool little device, and I'm looking forward. I've already started this morning to decode the HID packets and develop for it. But it's a cool little device. Unfortunately, the actual manufacturer did not open this up as a joystick device, so most games don't detect it, so you can't use it in, you know, games where a 3D device like this would be really cool, like Kerbal Space Program, or even the new Descent 3D that came out, where, you know, that kind of 3D control would be something that would be useful. For whatever reason, they didn't open the device up to allow that kind of stuff. So, but luckily, it is an HID device, so it is easy enough for me to decode. The packets are not coded the way that you would normally expect HID packets to be, where, you know, each access would typically have its own channel. On this one, there is like a packet descriptor and then several different kind of packets it sends. So within like a 6-byte array, it's using those bytes. For each byte could mean several different things depending on what the packet descriptor is set to. So it throws a little kink into the the decoding the HID packet, because it's flickering around a lot. But it also shows me places where my HID packet decoder program that I wrote is falling a little short. So it, you know, gives me an opportunity to update that as well to help developers out. But yeah, this thing's look cool. It has a lot more resolution than a DualShock 4 controller joystick, where you know, a DualShock 4, the little joysticks on this, if each direction you only have 127 possible values. So with the center, it totals up to 255 per axis, or axis. Whereas this guy has, let's say, about 350 per direction, so totaling up to 700 per axis. So it has a lot more resolution, with a lot shorter throw, though. I mean, but you know, it's pretty cool. Just, you know, gives a couple of hurdles that I have to go over when I'm trying to debug the code, because it has, you know, things like multiplier bits and all that stuff. So, but you know, easy enough. I can get through it. So expect this to be out there within the next few days. All right, guys. So that's about it. That wraps up what I've been working on and what I'm going to be working on. Make sure to check us out. We are now on Twitter. I'm not completely sure what I'm going to use that platform for, but people told me to get a Twitter, so I got a Twitter. So now I got a Twitter, so like my Twitter. Have a good one.